If you've ever wondered how ancient civilizations managed to grow food in scorching heat, rocky hillsides, and unpredictable weather, without irrigation systems, fertilizer bags, or fancy raised beds, look no further than the humble amphora. Those tall clay vessels you see in museums weren't just for wine and olive oil. Romans also used them as an ingenious gardening tool, one that modern gardeners are rediscovering and falling in love with. And honestly, after trying it myself, I get why these ancient methods continue to outperform many modern systems. An amphora is basically a tall, porous clay pot that tapers at the bottom and widens at the top. Most people think of them as storage jars, but the Romans used these vessels for controlled hydration, root temperature regulation, and even soil structuring. Put simply, the amphora acts as a self-regulating underground water and nutrient reservoir. When buried partially or fully in the soil, the amphora becomes what we today call an olla, a slow-release water system that hydrates plants from below and reduces evaporation dramatically. But here's what people miss. Amphoras were used not just for watering, but for whole plant systems. Romans created amphora microgardens, mini ecosystems where one vessel could feed several plants, enrich the soil, and regulate heat through ancient engineering. Modern gardeners lose up to 50% of their water to evaporation. Amphoras, they cut that number down to single digits. Water seeps out of the porous clay only when the surrounding soil becomes dry. So, what does that mean? Well, zero wasted water, no runoff, no overwatering, and deep root development. It's honestly like installing a natural drip system, without the plastic, the clogs, or the maintenance headaches. This is why amphora gardens thrived in drought-prone Roman provinces like Spain, North Africa, and parts of the Middle East. Modern container gardens restrict root movement, raised beds dry out fast, even drip irrigation tends to create shallow root habits. So, buried amphoras encourage roots to stretch downward toward moisture. This, creates stronger plants, higher drought resistance, more nutrient absorption, and, honestly, bigger, juicier yields. If you've ever struggled with tomatoes or peppers that wilt halfway through the day, amphora watering really flips the script. Here's the underrated part: the constant, gentle moisture from the amphora actually keeps the soil biologically active. Beneficial microbes really thrive, you know. Fungi thrive too. And earthworms, well, they absolutely love it. But, honestly, modern gardeners often swing between dry soil and sudden soaking, basically killing microbial cycles. An amphora creates a stable, life-friendly environment. Just think of it like a heartbeat for your soil, slow, steady, and dependable. Clay vessels naturally absorb heat and, release it slowly. Buried amphoras act like underground climate stabilizers. This means cooler roots during summer, even hydration during heat waves, and protected moisture during cold snaps. You know, modern methods like plastic pots, metal beds, and drip lines just don't come close. The Romans, they understood thermal mass long before we did. Ancient Roman farms weren't exactly growing in perfect loam. They had rock dust, lime-rich soils, hard clay, and those hot, arid landscapes. Yet, amphora microgardens thrived, because honestly, when the hydration system is at the core, the soil kind of becomes secondary. Plants don't care if the top layer is dry, as long as the deep zone stays moist. This is a huge advantage for dry climates, urban gardeners, sandy soil regions, hilly or rocky terrain, and, places with unpredictable rainfall. This is the hack Romans discovered, and honestly, modern gardeners often overlook. You can fill the amphora with compost tea, diluted manure tea, worm castings mixed with water, or even fermented plant juice. Nutrients leak slowly into the soil, feeding the roots without shocking them. It's basically an ancient controlled-release fertilizer system. Step 1. Get a porous clay vessel. You can use an amphora replica, a large unglazed terracotta pot, an olla, or really any clay jar with a lid. Step 2. bury it up to the neck. Leave the opening exposed so you can add water. Alright, step 3. Plant around the vessel. Tomatoes, cucumbers, squash, peppers, beans, anything that really loves deep moisture will just explode with growth here. Step 4. Fill it weekly. Depending on your climate, you might only need to refill every 4 to 10 days. Here's an optional Roman twist. Add gravel or charcoal at the bottom for filtration. This actually mimics Roman amphora design. Modern methods are great, but sometimes, ancient gardeners just had it figured out. Amphora Gardens combine water efficiency, soil biology, temperature control, natural irrigation, and deep root health. All of that comes together into a simple, elegant system that still rivals today's tech-heavy methods. If you want explosive growth, fewer watering chores and stronger plants, well, this is one ancient trick worth reviving.